Springfield, Missouri. Population back in 1992, just over 140,000. The kind of town where you leave your doors unlocked, where neighbors wave at each other from front porches, where nothing truly bad happens until one night it does. On the night of June 6th, three women, Sherrill Levitt, her daughter Suzie Streeter, and Susie's best friend Stacy McCall, went to bed. By the morning of June 7th, they were gone. No struggle, no break-in, no clues, just gone. Saturday, June 6, 1992. It was the kind of night you remember forever. For 18-year-old Suzie Streeter and Stacy McCall, high school was officially over. The final tassel turned, the cheers, the photos, the feeling that your life is just beginning. Kickapoo High School's class of '92 had scattered across Springfield. House parties, bonfires, music pouring from open garage doors. It was a small-town rite of passage. The last big night before adulthood started knocking. Suzie Streeter was bright, bold, a little rebellious. She'd recently bleached her hair platinum blonde. Her plans were still forming. Cosmetology school maybe, or a job. But for tonight, it was all celebration. Her best friend Stacy was more reserved, sweet, kind, cautious. She still lived at home, had told her parents she'd be back in the morning, just a night out with friends. Neither of them expected the night to end the way it did. Originally, Suzie and Stacy planned to sleep at their friend Janelle's house. It was a sensible plan. Lots of girls were crashing there after the parties. But when they got there sometime after 2 a.m., the house was packed and the space too cramped. So they made a snap decision. Let's just go to Suzie's. Her house, just a few minutes away on East Delmar Street, was quiet. Her mother, Sherrill Levitt, was already home. A single mom, 47 years old, who worked as a hairdresser and had recently bought a new home after a divorce. She was known to be private, dependable, soft-spoken. She'd spent the night refinishing a chest of drawers. No one knows for sure what time the girls got home. No one saw them arrive. No neighbors reported hearing anything strange. What we do know is this. Susie's car was parked outside. So was Stacy's. Inside, all three purses were lined up neatly in the living room. The TV was left on. The beds appeared to have been slept in. And the family dog Cinnamon was inside, nervous, barking, but unharmed. At some point in the quiet stretch of night between 2 a.m. and sunrise, all three women vanished, without a call for help, without a sound. It was as if the house had exhaled and everything inside was pulled out with it. June 7th, 1992, a Sunday morning. The kind where the world feels still, before lawnmowers buzz to life, before church bells ring, before anyone knows something's wrong. Around 9 a.m., Janelle Kirby, a close friend of Suzie and Stacy, drove to 1717 East Delmar Street with her boyfriend. They were supposed to pick the girls up for a trip to Whitewater, a local amusement park. They expected to find them half asleep, maybe still getting ready. Instead, they found something that didn't sit right. The front door was unlocked. They stepped inside, cautiously at first, calling out. No answer. But everything was there. Susie's car, Stacy's car. All three women's purses, lined up in a row inside the living room. Stacy's clothing from the night before, neatly folded. Sherrill's cigarettes, untouched. Susie's makeup bag, unopened. And the television, left on with static hissing across the screen. It felt like the women had just stepped out, but something was off. Then they noticed Cinnamon, the small Yorkshire Terrier. She was there too, restless, anxious, clearly distressed. The kind of dog that barked at everything. Why wasn't she barking last night? Janelle did what anyone would do. She tried to piece it together. She found a broken porch light bulb outside, swept up the glass, listened to a message on the answering machine. The voicemail was strange. She couldn't explain why. It just was. Something about the tone, the content. It gave her a bad feeling. She left the message there. But hours later, that message would be accidentally deleted before police could hear it. Erased. Gone. One of the only potential clues, lost forever. By the time Stacy's mother, Janice McCall, started calling around noon, she knew something was wrong. Her daughter wasn't answering her pager, and Stacy always called back. Janice made the decision that would alter everything. She drove to the house herself. Inside, she felt it immediately. Something was wrong. Stacy's shoes were by the door. her hairbrush, her overnight bag, untouched. Janice did something else too, something people still debate. She cleaned up a bit, tried to straighten the house. She was trying to help, but without knowing it, she may have erased more evidence. No signs of forced entry, no blood, no struggle. 3 women, 1 middle-aged, 2 teenagers, vanished in the middle of the night, leaving behind their wallets, keys, clothes, dog, everything. Everything, except answers. 1717 East Delmar Street, a modest single-story home on a quiet corner. Back in 1992, it looked like any other house in the neighborhood. Now it's gone, demolished, paved over. But the questions born inside its walls still echo. Because whatever happened to Sherrill, Suzie, and Stacy, it happened here. Investigators arrived later that day. The scene didn't scream crime. There was no forced entry, no sign of a struggle, nothing visibly out of place. But sometimes the absence of chaos is the loudest alarm. Let's walk through what they found. 1. The front door was unlocked. 2. All 3 purses sat together inside. 3 keys were on the table. 4. Makeup bags were untouched. 5. Suzie and Stacy's graduation gowns were laid out. 6. Cheryl's bed appeared to have been slept in. 7. And again, the family dog was there, unharmed, agitated. Not a single neighbor heard a scream. Not one reported strange sounds in the night. The street was quiet. Too quiet. Outside, investigators took note of the shattered front porch light. Not a big detail, but it suggested someone might have unscrewed the bulb or broken it on purpose. Maybe someone didn't want to be seen. Now here's where it gets murky. Before police officially took control of the scene, several people, friends, family, had already entered the house. They cleaned up broken glass, straightened pillows, listened to the answering machine, all with good intentions. But in a crime like this, every detail matters, and when the timeline is razor thin, you can't afford missing pieces. That answering machine message, the one that Janelle Kirby called creepy, was deleted. Accidentally. No backup, no way to analyze the voice, the content, or even the timestamp. The only thing we know is that the tone disturbed her. Could it have been the killer? Could it have been a clue? We'll never know. There were no fingerprints that pointed to a stranger. No DNA evidence was collected at the time. It was 1992. Forensics weren't what they are now. Everything about the house said they were here, and then they were gone. Like someone hit a light switch and erased them. 3 women vanished into thin air, no struggle, no signs, no trace, just a house and silence. By the end of that first week, over 20 investigators were on the case, FBI, state troopers, local police. But there was a problem. No scene, no suspect, no leads, and that's where the silence began to scream. Then a name emerged from the darkness, one that sent a chill through the investigators. Robert Craig Cox, a former Army Ranger, a convicted kidnapper, and a suspect in the 1978 murder of 19-year-old Sharon Zellers in Florida. He had been sentenced to death, but the ruling was overturned. Technicality, lack of evidence. He walked, and in 1992 he just so happened to be living in Springfield, Missouri. When asked about the night of June 6th, Cox claimed he was with his girlfriend. An alibi, but when questioned again, she admitted it was a lie. She wasn't with him. He had told her what to say. So what was he really doing that night? Cox wouldn't say. And then years later, while in prison for unrelated crimes, he said something that froze everyone in their tracks. I know they're dead. I know they were murdered. I know they'll never be found. When pressed, he smiled. When asked for details, he declined. He didn't want to talk anymore. Was it a confession? A game? Just another twisted manipulation? Authorities took it seriously, but they didn't have enough to charge him. He still hasn't been ruled out. And he's not the only one. Over the years, tips poured in. 1. A strange man seen near the Delmar house that night. 2. A possible stalker Suzie had mentioned in passing. 3. A man with a van spotted near the property, never identified. 4. And even years later, a theory that bodies were buried beneath a concrete hospital parking lot. None of it panned out. The van was never found. The construction crew had already poured the slab. No solid evidence, just stories. So many suspects, so many tips, and still so much silence. In the weeks after the disappearance, the Springfield Police Department received over 5,000 tips. Some came from locals, others came from psychics. Many came from people who simply wanted to help but had nothing concrete to offer. They checked abandoned buildings, drained nearby lakes, sent cadaver dogs into wooded areas, and yet every path eventually led nowhere. Then came one of the most persistent and haunting tips of all. A man contacted the police, insisting he knew where the women were buried. He claimed they had been killed and entombed beneath the Southside Medical Center parking garage, under several inches of concrete. His reasoning? Ground-penetrating radar. He claimed that scans done on the lot revealed 3 distinct anomalies, roughly the size of human graves. The tip sparked a frenzy. Journalists picked it up, locals speculated, the theory felt right. But there was a problem. The garage had been poured weeks after the women vanished. Even if the bodies had been there, digging up the concrete would be costly, disruptive. No judge would sign off without something stronger than radar scans and suspicion. So the lead sat, and eventually faded. And then there were the confessions. Over the years, multiple people came forward claiming to know what happened. Some said they heard it in jail, others said they saw it happen. One man swore he had helped move the bodies. None of them could prove it. None could tell police anything they didn't already know. Attention seekers, mentally unstable individuals, people trying to insert themselves into tragedy. Every one of them dismissed. Time kept moving. Theories multiplied: serial killer, trafficking, mistaken identity, revenge. Some believed it was random, a crime of opportunity. Others swore it was personal, someone the women knew. But without a crime scene, without witnesses, and without remains, every theory was just that, a guess in the dark. The search grew cold, then colder. Eventually, it froze. But still, even now, decades later, the occasional tip lands on a detective's desk. Some are reruns, some are brand new. All of them carry the same question: what if this one's real? While investigators chased shadows and the public traded theories, the families waited and hoped and hoped and hoped. Janice McCall, Stacy's mother, became the face of the search. She printed flyers, called press conferences, worked with national missing persons groups, and she never missed a vigil. To this day, she still wears Stacy's high school ring. She kept a notebook full of leads, names, sightings, dreams people had sent her. She chased rumors halfway across the country, listened to psychics because why not, spoke to convicts, met strangers in parking lots who claimed to know something. She did it all, because if she didn't, who would? She became the mother to a mystery, one she never asked for, one she never escaped. Sherrill's mother, Suzie's grandmother, passed away never knowing what happened to her daughter or granddaughter. And over time, public interest faded. TV crews moved on. Neighbors stopped talking about it. The house on East Delmar was eventually torn down. The place where the Springfield Three were last seen, erased from the landscape, but not from memory. Janice has said, "I don't need justice. I just need answers. I want to bring Stacy home." And after all these years, what haunts her most isn't what she knows. It's what she doesn't. There is no grave, no crime scene, no confession, just an empty lot and 3 names that refuse to be forgotten. Sherrill Levitt, 47 years old, a mother, a hairdresser, quiet, private. She had finally bought a house she could call her own. She never got to grow old. Suzie Streeter, 19, fearless, funny, just a little wild. She had a future ahead of her and a best friend by her side. Stacy McCall, 18, sweet, smart, grounded. She left behind a bedroom filled with dreams, a family who adored her, and a mother who never stopped searching. What happened inside that house on the night of June 6, 1992? Was it someone they trusted? Was it a stranger who watched them for weeks? Was it planned, or a crime of opportunity? Was it fast? Did they scream? Did anyone hear? No one has ever been arrested. No bodies have ever been found, and no one has ever come forward. But someone knows. Maybe they've kept the secret for over 30 years. Maybe they're watching this now. 3 women vanished without a trace. But silence is not the same as peace. If you know something, anything, contact the Springfield Police Department. The case of the Springfield Three remains one of America's most baffling unsolved mysteries. 30 years later, the trail is cold, but not forgotten. If this story moved you, share it. Keep their names alive. Someone out there knows the truth. Sherrill, Suzie, Stacy. Until they're found, we keep asking questions. If you're intrigued by unsolved mysteries and chilling cases, check out my playlist, True Crime, Murders, and Disappearances, for more unsolved cases.